is extreme weather changing Pakistan? At the moment, about 33 million people have been impacted by very severe floods during this current monsoon season.
Down to Pakistan now, where there are now fears of acute food shortages.
People have lost their homes, they've lost the way they make income, they've lost their livelihood. A lot of people in rural areas have difficulties even accessing shelters.
Pakistan's flooded rivers.
Pakistan tends to be flood water. Flooded here.
Floods in Pakistan.
The impacts of climate change has been visible around the globe for a few years now. We see this as a symbol and a parameter that climate change is really occurring. The fate of Malaysia could be the same as Pakistan if no action is taken immediately. We must take action together. Now.
Climate change refers to an average long-term shift in temperature and also weather patterns. In other words, it describes a change in the average conditions.
Climate change is caused by three types of pollution. The first one is air pollution. We can use dominoes effect to explain the situation. A man went out of his house and ride a vehicle. Then, he went to a supermarket. It is huge and uses large amount of energy to generate electricity. Then, the man bought a maid. It is slaughtered in domestic farms. In the domestic farm, the animal being raised there release organic waste. Next, the second cause of climate change is soil pollution. Soil is important component for carbon dioxide storage. When the carbon dioxide concentration increases in our atmosphere, it causes the microbes in the soil to work faster to break down organic matter. Higher temperature also increase decomposition and mineralization of organic matter in the soil, thus reducing organic carbon content. The last cause is water pollution. When waste is being dumped in the river, the microbes will broken it down into other forms, usually through aerobic or anaerobic respiration, which will release three main greenhouse gases, namely carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide.
So now I'm trying to understand what happens to us, to real people in various communities worldwide, as our ice transforms. I think if we understand glacier change, we can understand climate change. And then we might be able to understand future change.
Adaptation is defined as helping people in adjusting themselves to the effect of climate change. Meanwhile, mitigation is to help lower the severity of climate happenings. The first adaptation project is, in the context of flooding, developed countries have implemented water and flood barriers such as seawalls and water dikes to prevent infrastructures from getting damaged. For instance, expensive utilities and coastal houses. In the Australasia region, relocation of people and infrastructures that are often under the threat of flooding after a heavy storm rain. Moving on to mitigation, we have NASA's Earth Applied Remote Sensing Training RSAT, which basically use satellites to measure atmospheric carbon dioxide at CO2 measurement from space using OCO2 and OCO3. Following that, there are policies created to increase the usage of electrical cars as a standard in major countries like USA and China. To summarize everything, climate change is a drastic alteration of normal condition on Earth. It is sourced from air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. There are two measures that we can take, which are mitigation, that focuses on lowering the severity of effects, and adaptation, which is adjusting ourselves to the effects. Let's go to the Q&A session. You may pause the video to answer. Question 1. Climate change can be determined by? The answer is B. Shifts in temperature and rainfall in a region over a long period of time.
Question 2. Which of these does not contribute to climate change? The answer is D. Groundwater extraction that decreases pore pressure. For our last question, Green Roof Project focuses on? The answer is A. Mitigating heat due to climate change instead of using typical dark roof tiles.